Welcome back. In this lecture, we'll try to understand neo-realism and understand what what Walt's view on Kenneth Walt's view on neo-realism are. Right? We have understood realism before. What is realism? What is realism? Realism is seeing international relations as they are. Realism is talking about national interest. Realism is talking about power. Realism is talking about balance of power. Right? Realism is mainly talking about conflict. Realism is saying that conflict is going to be the characteristics of international politics, right? Originally, realism was started, or who is father of realism? It is Morgan Thiev. No, Morgan Thiew's theory talks about power. Morgan Thiew's theory talks about national interest. Morgan Thiew's theory talks about power as means and ends as well. But Morgan Thiew's theory is based on human nature. Morgan Thew's theory is based on human nature. Morgan Thew says that man is animus dominandi. Man is animus dominandi, and he says that because man is animus dominandi, states are also dominant, also looking for domination. States are also looking for domination, right? Now, Morgan Thew's theory, despite being a realist theory, is based on human nature. It is based on human nature. Morgan Thew's theory based on human nature. Human nature cannot be patterned. Human nature cannot be scientific, right? Human nature cannot be scientific. So while the theory holds its place, while the theory is somewhat right, while the theory is right, what is the issue with theory? The issue with theory is foundation. Foundation of Morgenthau's theory is human nature, right? That is why Morgenthau's theory is unscientific. And as this theory is unscientific, Kenneth Waltz gives his own theory, right? Kenneth Waltz gives his own theory. Kenneth Waltz says that Morgenthau has gone for actor level analysis. Morgenthau has gone for actor level analysis. Morgenthau has gone for unit level analysis. Kenneth Waltz suggests that people occupying positions, how they act and react, is theory of Morgenthau, right? It is realist theory of Morgenthau. Waltz say, Waltz say, scientific theory cannot be based on human nature. And the second thing that Waltz say that scientific theory possible using only systems approach, right? Systems approach in international relations is initially used by Kaplan. But what is the difference between Kaplan and Waltz? That Kaplan was very descriptive. Right? He tried to make future predictions, but the analytical value is not there. The difference between Kaplan and Waltz is that Waltz has given analytically rich scientific theory, right? Kaplan gave only scientific theory, right? This is the difference. Kaplan, I will say, is behavioral, focused on method. Kenneth Waltz, Waltz is post-behavioral, focused on and method and norms. This is the difference, right? While Kaplan tried, it was really the Waltz who did give scientific theory of international relations. What is the difference between Kaplan and Waltz? That Kaplan is behavioral, Waltz is post-behavioral. Kaplan just talks about method, Waltz talks about both method and norms, method and analysis. Right? We have to understand, we have to understand Waltz, Kenneth Waltz. What Kenneth Waltz tried to do, right? Kenneth Waltz tried to do, it was to bring scientific analysis to realist school of international politics. Scientific analysis to realist school of international politics. No, Kaplan before Waltz, Kaplan tried to do it, right? But Kaplan's model was very broad, right? He gave six models, and there is relationship between them. The things are not there is relations between them. The things that are not very clear. So as to what Kaplan wants to say, he wants to he wants to uh, make future predictions, but how we are going to get to those situations, it is not really clear, right? It is not really clear. So Kaplan's model, while being based on systems approach, it falls short. It falls short because it does not give how it does not give answer to how systems elements interact with each other, right? It does not answer this, that how elements interact with each other, right? This is the limitation with respect to Kaplan's model. Waltz solves this limitation. He explains how systems elements interact with each other with simple simple terminology of balance of power. Systems interact with each other through balance of power, right? Through balance of power. Now, use of systems approach by Watts, it is not really new, right? We have understood his one of the book Man, the State and War. In his book Man, State and the War, right? If I'm not wrong, this is 1958 book. In his book Man, State and War, he have given three images of international politics. What are these three images? Human nature, right? Domestic determinants and world order. World order. That is a unit, state, and system, right? Unit, state, and system. In his next book, right, how he has used systems approach, that he has given unit, states, and system. He has given elements of a system, that there are going to be units which are states. There is going to be human nature. There is going to be domestic determinants. Then there is going to be world order. This was broad picture, right? And in his next book, which I feel is the most important book in international politics or international relations, he has shifted all his focus on world order in his book Theory of International Politics, 1979 book. 1979 book. In this book, he has shifted his analysis from three images to only world order, right? In only world order. He analyzes world order, and he analyzes world order as a system through three elements. What are these three elements? Number one, units of international politics or world order, right? Structure of international politics or world order. The third is nature of interaction between units in a particular structure, nature of interaction, right? Nature of interaction. This two elements and the nature of interaction, it is basically systems approach. What Kaplan did was give models, did not discuss nature of interaction. On the other hand, Waltz, while not giving models, explained unit and structure and given analysis with respect to nature of interaction as well, right? Nature of interaction as well. The first book talked about a broad umbrella picture of human nature, of domestic determinants, and of world order. The second book, the 1979 book, the book on international politics, the theory of international politics, talks solely about world order and analyzes units of international politics, or you can read it as world order, structure of international politics or world order, and nature of interaction between units and structure of international politics. So the subject the subject of his second book is world order and analysis of world order, right? Analysis of world order. Now, how does he give that analysis? How does he give that analysis? He gives that analysis by saying that these the units are in balance of power. The unit are in balance of power. While Morgan Thew talks about human nature, while Morgan Thew talks about human nature, the theory of Morgan Thew talking about human nature was not open to falsification. Right? Morgan Thew's theory was reductionist. Morgan Thew's theory was unit level, actor level. Walt's theory, on the other hand, is structural level. Right? This structural level, it is unit level. It is not unit level, but it is a system level interaction or system level analysis. Right? A unit level analysis cannot be used for generalization because different units can act differently. But system level analysis is applied universally, right? Is applied universally. That is why Walt's theory is so important. People were limited with units, people were limited with models, people were limited with cooperation. Waltz, on the other hand, talked about system as a whole. Waltz, on the other hand, talks about structure as a whole, right? Morgan Thew's theory, Morgan Thew's theory, it is unit centric, talks about actors, talks about human nature. Human nature. Morgan's theory is it is not open to falsification, not open to falsification because it cannot be. What is falsification? Right? Morgenthau says that states go for conflict and states go for power. Right? States are power hungry. For fulfillment of national interest, states go for power. But there is example like Japan. Japan did not go for power as such. They shed their military structure altogether. They disbanded their military and they are not really going for power. They are cooperating with United States. So Morgenthau's theory is not open to falsification. There are always examples which will falsify a particular which will falsify his theory, right? When your theory is not open to falsification, when your theory is verification based, and there is example which exists to counter your theory, your model is reductionist, your model is incomplete, your model is not applicable in all situations. Morgenthau's model is applicable on some units, not all units. On the other hand, Walt's Walt's model, it can be applied to all structures. It can be applied to all structures. If it is falsifiable, if it's not falsifiable, that is a different thing, right? That is a different thing. But it is at least applicable to all structures. Human behavior does not affect Waltz theory. It is it is scientific, it is scientific, it is generalized, right? A more apt word will be post behavioral. It is post behavioral, right? And the and now we'll start with analysis as given by Waltz. So what analysis does Walt give of international politics, right? The first thing that he says, that states are units of international structure. What are the units? States. States are units of international structure. Neo Realism or Waltz theory is therefore state centric view, right? The second thing that Waltz say, that states are not functionally differentiated. Not functionally differentiated. What does it mean? It means that all states perform same or similar functions. What is function of state? What is function of state? It is survival or security. So all state perform function of survival of or security, right? And the third thing or the third analysis that Waltz give of international politics is that units which are functionally non-differentiated states create an anarchical structure, right? Functionally non-differentiated, functionally non-differentiated sovereign states create anarchical structure, anarchical structure, right? Anarchical structure. And states in anarchical structure go for self-help, self-help, right? Self-help. States in anarchical structure go for self-help, and all the state go for self-help, right? All the states go for self-help. Why it is so? Because states are functionally non-differentiated. Because states are functionally not differentiated, their only function is self-help. They will help themselves, right? They will help themselves. Self-help is ultimate driver of foreign policy. But issue with self-help is that I am saying that functionally non-differentiated state in anarchical structure create in functionally non-differentiated sovereign state for self-help, and self-help appears to be the driver of foreign policy, right? When when all of the states perform the same function of self-help, why their foreign policy appear different, right? Why foreign policy appear different? If states are functionally non-differentiated, why their foreign policy appear different? Because they differ in capabilities. What does this mean? India, right? We'll make a table. By making a table, I feel it will be better to understand. Country, function of foreign policy, capability, and and course of action. Course of action, right? Country is, let's suppose, Let's suppose Pakistan. What is function of foreign policy of Pakistan? Self-help. What is capability? Right, out of 1 to 10, yeah, out of 1 to 10, if America was 10, where would you put Pakistan in terms of capability? Around 2 or 3. Right, right. I will put Pakistan at 2.5 if America is 10. But course of action, the application of function of self-help in foreign policy is seen in terrorism. Does America do terrorism? It does. But it does direct terrorism. That army will attack a country. Pakistan cannot attack any country directly. It does not have capability to do so. What Pakistan will do? It send terrorists. Right? It will do grey warfare. Let's suppose country is India. Function of foreign policy is self-help. With if US is 10, Indian capability will be around 5. Right? 5 and 5. 5. 5 is a good number. Indian capability is 5. What is the course of action? We went for Operation Sindur. Right? We attacked mainland Pakistan because we have capacity to do so. Right? US again function will be self-help. Capability is 10 on 10. Now, if they want to change things in Venezuela, they will capture Maduro because they have capacity to do so. Capture Maduro. The function remains same, which is of self-help, but course of action changes. That is why foreign policy feel appear different, but in essence, foreign policy are effectively for self-help. Right? This is capability. Right? This is capability, and with respect to capability, foreign policy appear different. So, what is capability according to Kenneth Waltz? So, we have to understand concept of capability according to Kenneth Waltz. Capability is nothing but power or capacity. Power or capacity to do something. Right? It is just power or capacity. Because different nations have different power, their foreign policy appear different. But foreign policy are not really different. Foreign policy are not really different on basis of power, on basis of capacity, on basis of capability. States go for balance of power. This is the main concept as given by Kenneth Waltz. Why so much information, or why so much analysis till now? Why I said that world level analysis, structure level analysis? Why I said that uh, Morgenthau has given unscientific theory? Why I said that what is the structure of international relations according to Waltz? It is units, it is functionally differentiated, functionally non-differentiated states. And what is the nature of international politics? So state self-help, how is structure, anarchical structure? All this Ramayan for what? For the concept of balance of power. What is balance of power? Right? Balance of power is balance of capabilities. It is balance of power, balance of capacity. What is balance of power? Right? Balance of power is extremely central concept in political science. Balance of power, we have seen balance of power in bits and pieces. Now we'll understand balance of power in quite a good detail. Right? Balance of power in quite a good detail. What is balance of power? Balance of power is like a game of seesaw. One person sits here, other person sits here. Who has more weight? Seesaw will go down in that direction or in that side. This is balance of power. Balance of power is as simple as this. Right? Balance of power is not really a new concept. Right? Balance of power, it is not really a new concept. If you remember Kaplan's first model is balance of power model. Balance of power model is an historical model. historical model in Europe. It existed during World War One, World War Two, where states with similar capabilities, state with similar capabilities exist in a condition of balance of power. Right? This is not really a new concept. The concept of balance of power has been there for a long amount of time. What is the difference? What is the difference from earlier concept and concept as explained by Waltz? It is scientific nature. Waltz explain the theory through a scientific lens. Through a scientific lens. Earlier, what balance of power basically was? Balance of power was seeing how much your adversary nation has power, seeing how much I have power, and with respect to that power, try to I will try to gain more power so that I will not be leaving behind with respect to other nations. Right? But this is not really scientific. What exists within power, this is not really explained. Right? On the other hand, Waltz give a detailed analysis of balance of power. It gives balance of power a scientific nature. Right? Scientific nature. To understand balance of power and to understand balance of power scientifically, right? By scientific nature, I will mean systems approach. In political science, scientific means systems approach. Waltz Waltz explains units, structures, and capabilities of units. Capabilities of units. Right? To understand balance of power model scientifically or through systems approach. When I say scientific, I mean systems approach in political science. When I have to understand balance of power model scientifically, I will understand units, I will understand structures, and I will understand capabilities. Now, what is capability? What is capability? We have just seen it is about power or capacity. But which kind of power? Which kind of capacity? Hard power, right? What is hard power? Hard power is material power. Material power exists through military, it exists through economy, right? Measurable power, measurable material power, things like GDP, things like how many Rafales I have. This is hard power, right? This is hard power. And based on unit structure and capabilities, and applying system approach to political science to balance of power, Kenneth Waltz gave some principles of international politics. Principles of international politics as explained by Kenneth Waltz. Kenneth Waltz. The first principle that Waltz gives, he says that he says that international system is system of states. Very simple, right? What is international system? International system is a system of states. What are states? States are sovereign entities. This is first principle. The second principle is that sovereign states are not functionally differentiated. Sovereign states are not functionally differentiated, right? The third principle is functionally differentiated sovereign states are different in terms of capabilities, right? Main function of state is self-help. What is function of state? What is function? Self-help, right? Why self-help is used, or why self-help? Because in anarchy, In anarchy, you have to help yourself. In anarchy, there is no other actor which is going to help you. In anarchy, it has to be self-help, right? When there is anarchy, when there is no law and order, in anarchy leads to security dilemma. What is security dilemma? Security dilemma is saying it is basically saying that I am fearful that I am fearful that my security is going to be compromised. I am not really sure that my security is foolproof. In anarchy, self-help becomes the rule. In anarchy, power becomes the principle of order. If you are powerful, you will be safe. If you are not, you are gone. Right? These are the five principles as given by Kenneth Waltz. The international system is a system of states, a system of sovereign states. Sovereign states are functionally non-differentiated. When functionally non-differentiated states get into anarchy who have different capabilities, the principle or the function of state becomes self-help, right? Self-help. And on basis of these principles, he has given polarity of power thesis. What is polarity of power thesis? Right? What does polarity of power thesis tries to explain? It tries to explain, it tries to explain which distribution of power is most stable, right? Which distribution of power is most stable? What is the basic question? Which concentration of power is most stable? Concentration with one actor, concentration with two actors, or concentration with multiple actors? When concentration of power is with one actor, the world order is unipolar world order. Unipolar world order, according to Kenneth Waltz, it is not stable. It is not stable. The second concentration of power is bipolar. Bipolar. What is bipolar world order? Whereby concentration of power is with two states. They have almost equal power. This is most stable. And there is multipolar world order as well. World order as well. Multipolar world order as well. In this situation, in this situation, power is concentrated with multiple poles. Multiple actors have similar power levels. This is most unstable. Multipolar world order, it is not desirable. It is not desirable at all. Right? Then he has given some analysis as well. Why unipolar world order is unstable? Why it is unstable? Unipolar world order is unstable. Why? Right? The first reason that he gives and he says that balance of power it is a natural law. It is a natural law. On what basis he says so, I don't know, but he again, a big man, says we have to study. Unipolar model, right? Unipolar model is hegemonic. When there is hegemonic, other states will go into state of panic. Other states will will seek coalition either with unipolar or with similar minded countries, right? If USA is a unipolar actor, then BRICS is the coalition which tries to balance USA, right? USA is unipolar model or unipolar actor. BRICS is the coalition which balances USA. Then the second then the second or multipolar model, why it is undesirable? Multipolar model, why it is most unstable? Multipolar model, multipolar model. This is undesirable. This is most unstable. Why it is undesirable or why it is unstable? Because there is there is chance of miscalculation. There is chance of miscalculation, right? Why did Hitler lost World War II? Because he miscalculated attack on Russia, right? World War II was lost by Hitler because miscalculation on attack on Russia. Had Hitler had not gone for attack on Russia, he would have won. He would have won. He might have won, right? Why this miscalculation? Because there were multiple actors in Europe. They had similar power levels, and there was USA as well. Hitler thought, if I don't attack Russia now, Russia I will not ever get. So he just attacked Russia, and that is why Hitler failed in World War II. This was miscalculation which happened in multipolar world order. Then bipolar world order. Bipolar world order is most stable. It is most stable, right? It is most stable. Why it is most stable? Because there are two global powers, because there are two superpowers who balance each other, who balance each other, right? The only power these two superpower has to balance is each other, right? One will think that where is other militarily, I have to be there militarily, everything else is okay, I don't have threat from anywhere. So these two will balance each other. These two will uh, keep keep eye on each other. Rest of the world can live peacefully. This is bipolar model. It is most stable. This is most stable model, right? So this is the idea, right? This is most stable. This is most secure model. This is polarity of power thesis. This is polarity of power thesis, right? So what is our analysis with respect to polarity of power thesis? Number one, number one, by saying bipolar model is most stable, Waltz have changed the discourse in realist perspective that power for security, right? Power earlier was used for hegemony or domination. Waltz shifted use of power from domination to power for security, right? Waltz say domination on the world by US is not possible. Instead of domination, just go for stability. Because according to Waltz, unipolar model is not stable, right? He says that states should seek balance than hegemony, right? Hegemony is unstable. Seek balance with a uh, equally powerful counterpart, right? He wants US to be a status quoist power and not hegemonic power, right? Not hegemonic power. This is the idea. This is the idea of Kenneth Waltz and his balance of power thesis is polarity of power thesis. Polarity of power thesis basically says that bipolar model is most stable, it is most secure. Unipolar model, it is not really secure. Hegemony cannot be continued for a long amount of time, and multipolarity is undesirable because it is extremely unstable. So what Walt suggests that do not go for domination, but we should go for balance than hegemony, status quoism than hegemony, right? Security than domination. This is the idea of Waltz, who says bipolar model is most stable and why it is more stable, and why we should go for bipolar model, because of security, because of balance, because of status cohesion. This is the idea. The whole theory was written in 1979, just after detente, right? Just after detente, and it is very reflective of that. It is very reflective of that when Waltz say that bipolar model is very stable. It is inducive for security. It is conductive for balance. You should always remember period of detente, period of relaxation between US and USSR. So this is the idea. I hope you understood neorealism. From the next lecture, we have to start with neoliberalism, and after neoliberalism, and within neoliberalism, we have to at least understand 5 to 6 types of neoliberal ideas. This is the idea. From the next lecture, we'll start with neoliberalism. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye bye. I'll see you.